Good evening, everyone. This is Cheryl Bliss, and we have Colleen Day and Kari Schick are here with us, and we make up the Consistently Creative Crew, and we're here to share with you tonight the project recipe, the Autumn Harvest. And the main design is created using a frame punch. So I just want to show you, this is the one I'm going to be using. This is the newest pumpkin patch frame punch. And the frame punches stay attached in the center, and then there is a silver line on the tray, on the punching tray. So that's how you know it is a frame punch. So these are all various frame punches that the company has had in the past, some of which are still available. I believe this one, and this one, and this one are all still available for purchase. So you may have some of these older ones, you can use those for this design. So you're going to need 2 pieces of paper for your base. So 2 pieces of designer paper for your base, and then 2 designer sheets. You're going to see both sides, and those will be cutting apart. And let me move all these goodies out of the way. This is the layout that I made earlier. I'm not quite done with it, but you get the idea. I'm going to be putting a journaling square in there. Just want to share with you, these are the stickers from the collection that we're going to be using, Autumn Harvest. These are the embellishments which just recently sold out. I know I have a couple packs. I don't know if any of the other ladies have a couple packs. If anybody really wants them, we can get them to you. And this is the beautiful paper pack. So it's Autumn Harvest. And Kari, are you able to do a screen share and show the different combinations? I don't know if she was prepared to do that or not.
Yes, and I do have them.
Yay. All right, we'll switch to Kari real quick.
So this is the advisor guide, and they recommend adding 1 sheet of pumpkin cardstock as one of your papers. And then here are the 3 different pairings that they have with and I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see them. So these are the ones that they recommend, and they all have very different feel to them for using with different pictures.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so I'm going to be using this one that I'm going to be working with as we cut here. So let me just put all this aside. All right, so we're going to start with designer paper number 1. And let me just double check on here. Okay, so this is on our guide here. It is these 2 pieces here, and then we flip and we're going to put it behind the pumpkins. So if that helps you determine which paper you might want to use, I'm going to be using this one. It's plaid on one side and blue on the other. And if there is any directions on yours, I don't know which way you're going to be going, but we're going to be cutting in this direction. Mine doesn't matter either way. So, I guess that would be tricky if you were going to be using that because 2 of them go this horizontally and 2 go vertically. So best not to use directional paper for this one. All right, so our first cut is going to be at 4.5 inches. So we're just going to cut at 4.5. And the second cut is also at 4.5. And the next one is at 1.5. And then that leaves a 1.5 inch piece left over. So easy. So there are 3 pieces. And let's going to end up on the layout like this. These two pieces are on that side and these two are going to be in this direction. Here. And then on the next one, designer paper number 2, we're going to cut at 2 inches, and this is what we're going to use for our border punch across the bottom. So here. So if you are directional on this one, these pieces are going to be turned like this in the layout. So like on my previous one, it had words on it. So I had the words, you can see that, but I wanted these words across the bottom to be in the right direction. Now it also worked out turning it. So if you have a directional paper, turn it like one more time. So it's in that way. I don't know if that makes sense. But this is not going to matter for me. So I'm just going to cut either side. This side's prettier, so we'll cut on this side. So we're going to cut at 2 inches twice. So 2 by 12. All right, and so what's left over is 8 inches, and we're going to rotate that 1 turn. And so we're going to be cutting now at 6 inches and cutting this in half. All right, does everybody follow that? So that's what the cutting guide. So 2-inch strip, 2-inch strip, turn, and cut at 6. These are what we're going to be making the borders out of. So we put that aside for now, and we'll just move on to the cardstock. And we're basically just cutting mats. I actually really love orange shimmer, so that's what I'm going to use. It's really pretty. So we're just going to be cutting at 4 inches. 3 times. 1, no, 2 times really. All right, and our first one is going to be 2 4 by 6 inch mats. So we'll just cut that one in half. So here's our 2 4 by 6 mats. And then on this one, we're going to cut at 4 twice, and that will give us our 3 of our 4 by 4 inch mats. And then we just need 1 more. Last piece, and this extra piece is scrap. So we have 4 4 by 4 mats and 2 4 by 6 mats.
Did I miss it, Cheryl? Did you cut the 4 4 by 4 mats?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Is everybody caught up with me?
I'm not sure how, because I can't even type it. So raise your hand if you need more time. I don't see any.
Everybody's good. All right, so we're going to take our papers from designer paper number 2 that we cut, and we're going to punch the 2 smaller pieces with we're just going to cut a straight border. Okay, we're just going to punch a straight border. And of course, I stacked it, and you can do 2 at a time easily. And once we cut this, it's a little hard to see where your little line is on the front when you stick your paper in there. So what I do is I just put a little Post-it note right there. So now I can see when I put it in, I'm gonna go all the way to the back of the tray and my little Post-it note is right at the little line. All right, since I'm doing two, I'm gonna line those up and make sure they're nice and even before we start punching. Oop, and this Post-it note is sticky. There we go. All right, so just make sure it's against the back. And then you're just going to want to make sure, if you're doing two at the same time, you're just going to want to make sure your layers are together. And if you used cardstock for this, I know sometimes people just like, whatever, I don't have a designer paper and they just want to use cardstock. I wouldn't cut two, I wouldn't punch two cardstocks at the same time. And we're just going to keep pulling that through and following the pattern. And this punch is really adorable because it has these sweet little apples that punch out, and also they're kind of like a little flower or potentially a little star.
So I do have a question. Can
Mhm.
you cut two of those patterns, whether you're using a punch or the border makers?
I would not use, okay, so Vivian's using that very swirly border maker cartridge. I would not punch two in that one. Just because that one, for whatever reason, the little swirly gigs can go, can get out of whack on you. So I wouldn't do it with that one. Now this one, these don't look as good as my last one. My last one I had red on the other side. So I'm actually going to save those hey, they look like either a pumpkin or an apple. Looks like an apple to me. But now that I'm looking at it, if that was orange, that would look like a pumpkin, right? Does that look like a pumpkin to you guys or an apple? I was thinking it was an apple.
It could be either.
Either one, whatever your heart's desire. So anyway, I'm going to toss these because I saved a whole pile from my last layout that I made that I will keep those because they're red. So this I'm going to get rid of. Okay, so now we have our two borders cut. So now we're going to go and do the same thing with the frame punch. And I did punch this at the same time. And so when we're punching the frame, you're going to start, you can see your paper sticking out and you want to line it up right where that line is. There's like a silver line, and that's where you want to be to cut your frame. Okay, so what it does is it makes a little corner for you, and that's where we're going to go around the corner. So this particular measurement of 6 by 8, you punch 3 times, and then you're going to turn it. Okay, and then you're going to line that little corner up against the tray again, against that silver line. See? And these little squares come off. And then you're only punching this side twice. Okay, and then you're going to turn that.
Cheryl, can you show the lineup right there? We can't see it.
The little silver line.
Yeah, if you can just other way. We can't see it.
Oh,
There we go. Now
sorry. Okay.
that's what you're lining up.
Yep.
Thanks.
So when you want to use the frame, that's where you line up. If you want to use, when you're making a border, you line up to that line right there.
Perfect.
So on all of these frame punches, as long as you have an even number, you can go around. It has to be bigger than 4 by 4 is the smallest you can do. Okay, so as long as you're 4 by 4, and if you do a 4 by 4, you're only going to punch once on each side. But just so you know, if you have other size pictures or you want different things, these, as long as you have even numbers, you can use them to make a frame. So you get these little squares left over that you could potentially use, maybe put some letters on there. You could put fun on there or fall or something like that. So I will save those and use that for something. But this is gonna go. 'Cause I like my other stuff better. All right. Everybody caught up with me? I
Getting
think
there.
going kind of slow, so. This is really fun paper. It probably can't see as nice as it is in person, but it's like paint speckles. I like it because it picks up all the different colors. So usually what I like to do is just run a little tiny bit of repo right at the 6 and just attach that so it stays. I like to use my mat to line up everything. So
This isn't gonna work.
I think we are ready. Oh, here. Is that Pat?
Yeah,
Uh-oh. Well, remember we had that oh. I forgot to mention that. If you are using a border maker instead, so line up your line up your piece of paper. This isn't the right piece of paper, but if it were, on this end, you want to start an inch down. So you would start your paper here. The bottom of this border maker cartridge, this is an inch. And then, so each one, this is an inch, the first one. All right. So if you go 1 inch down, you're going halfway. So just line it up. And then when you're going to punch, you skip your first spot, and then you go to your second one. So that way you're going to have a corner to go around. Okay, so anyone who doesn't have a frame punch but wants to try this, you can try it with your border maker cartridges. We have a couple ladies that are using a border maker cartridge, and we did try it out. Wondering what I did with my little sample that I made. I can show you if I can find it. It's gone. It's gone. If I find it afterwards, I'll show you. All right, so the way this is gonna, just like this. Ready? So when you line up these two papers in the center, you want to figure out where you cut it and make sure that they line up, because these two, the layout, this is gonna butt up to one another in your album. So see, this is our piece of paper that we cut apart. So it's gonna go like this. Is everybody ready to start assembling? All right, no one's yelling at me to stop, so I'll keep going. So I have my orange edge, and we're going to line this right up to the edge. Now these guys are going to go get centered in here. And they're going to go over here. And this one's going to go over here. Can't get any closer under my camera here for you. Hang on, let me see if I move this. All right, we're going to get crooked for a minute. Sorry. I'm trying to so you can see the bottom. So what I did with this one here is the easiest way that I found to do this was to put repositionable on the back of your pumpkins. In my case, pumpkins. I'm sure what everybody else is using. And then this went just right up to the edge here. See? And about 1/4 of an inch down on the blue. And it just gives it a nice background. one. This one. This one. I did just want to show you that how I laid these down. I did them at a 1/2 inch because we're going to put a sticker, or if you want to use a border maker cartridge or whatever, we'll do a little vine or something across the bottom. So those are going to go at a 1/2 inch up. And it also worked out nicely because then your photo mats, you're going to center them in here, but if you do a 1/2 inch from the top, it works out pretty much perfectly, because then you have about a 1/2 inch between and a 1/2 inch from here to here. Okay, so that's how those are going to go. And then when we center this, it covers up a little bit of our pumpkin design, but the pumpkins will be peeking out from the sides. And so we don't need to watch me put this all together, but does anybody have any questions or anybody having any problems that they need assistance with?
The blue pieces that are on the bottom, where did those come from? I'm sorry, those were the what?
That was the 1.5 inch strip
Got
that we cut here. So
Okay.
that was designer paper number 1. So it's the back side of, for me, it's the back side of this plaid.
I understand now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else have any other questions? All right, we can stop the recording and then we'll attach all of this and then we'll see you back in a few. Hi, everybody. I've just finished up my first layout that I had made right before class started. Luckily, it was really fast. So I was able to whip this one up. I just put some stickers down here, did a little, just basically just stickers, and then put a journaling square in there because I didn't have any more photos. And then this is the one that I did on the recording. Oh, glare. Ooh, that's worse. So anyway, so super easy. We just put border stickers across the bottom, couple stickers here and there, and we're done. And who else would like to show what they made? I think did we have Vivian?
I do.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay, that's the Serene Waters. Oh yeah, and you used that
You
around.
used the-
How did
you
I
u-
can't see the frame. Okay, okay, I got it. I see the frame. Good.
So that's the frame. Yeah,
That
it'll be
worked.
better when I post it.
Nice.
Pretty colors.
Yeah, pretty. I love Serene Waters. I
And you
think
can-
there's still some left. It is on sale now. I don't know if you guys saw that.
And I've got mine. You can put
All right,
mine
Pat.
on.
All right,
Yeah.
it's coming.
There you go.
Oh, there's Pat, and she is the cloud frame punch. That came out great. And look how different it is. That is Serene Waters also, but it just looks completely different with a different punch.
Yep.
And a few different sheets of
Pretty.
paper. That's awesome.
Yep.
Anybody else want to share? Did Kari? Where's Miss Kari? I don't see her.
Sure, I can share.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Oh, pretty.
that's a good.
that's
I
very
used
pretty.
Unbelievable and
Oh,
the
yeah.
gold pedal punch.
Oh, that's very
Pretty.
pretty.
Yeah, that came out great.
Thanks.
That awesome. Anybody else? Deanna ready? Nope, Deanna's dark. All right. Oh. I don't know what I did. Everybody just disappeared on me. I don't know what I pressed. Oh, well. Okay. Anyway, well, thanks for joining us tonight. It was great to see everybody. And if you make the layout and you want to share your photo, we're Consistently Creative Croppers is where we can post our photos in the album there. All righty. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Good night.